What if his people prayed?
If my people call by my name.
Hey guys, it's Daryl. I hope you're doing well. Just wanted to share with you a cool story that really drives home an important point, and probably one of the things that's messed up in the modern American church today. I hear it all the time, especially on our Facebook page. But it's a story about an older guy, kind of retired, been long in the Lord, knows the word backwards and forwards, and decided, hey, the church really doesn't have anything to offer. I don't really like the music. The pastor is, kind of young, and he just, I don't connect with them. I don't really like a lot of the other people in the church. So with that, he decided, hey, I'm going to quit going to church. I'm not going to be a part of the local fellowship anymore. And he decided to stay home and have a solid day of rest. Decided, hey, I don't need to go to church to be a Christian. I know I'm saved. I know my Maker. I'm just going to stay home, spend some time with him, have a good day of rest. And he did. And after about 4 or 5 weeks, he's sitting in front of a fire on a cold winter's day and reading the word, talking to the Lord, just praying. All of a sudden, a knock comes at the door. He gets up, answers the door, and wouldn't you know it, it's the pastor. And he's, hey, pastor, how you doing? Long time no see. The pastor says, yeah, I was kind of worried about you. I hadn't seen you in a few weeks. How you been? The man says, well, come on in. It's cold. I've been doing fine. Would you like some coffee? You like something to drink? I was just sitting here kind of reading the word. He said, no, that's fine. I'll just sit here with you and maybe we could talk a little bit. So with that, the pastor sits down next to the older gentleman and they sit and stare at the fire for 4, 5, 10 minutes. And with that, the pastor stands up, goes over to the fire, grabs the tongs, pulls an ember out of the fire, sets it outside of the fire, goes and sits back down. After about 4 or 5 minutes, that ember started to smolder. It started to die off. It wasn't glowing red hot anymore. It was starting to kind of put off smoke, and you couldn't see the glow about it anymore. And as it started to smolder and die, the pastor got back up, grabbed those tongs, picked up that ember and put it back in the fire, and bam, immediately that ember was ablaze again. It ignited almost immediately from the time it was put back in the fire. Well, with that, the old man looked over at the pastor and said, Pastor, thanks for coming today and giving me this fiery sermon. I'll see you on Sunday. Is that you? Does that describe you? Have you given up on meeting with folks in your local church? Are you disgusted by some of the people that are there? Maybe somebody hurt you, somebody wounded you. Maybe you feel like there's just too many hypocrites in the church, or even like the old man, you feel like there's nothing for them to offer you anymore. You know the word, you know you're saved, you're walking with the Lord, but you just don't really care for the music, or you don't really care for the younger crowd or the new pastor or whatever it may be. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you isolate yourself and you get outside of the local church and you quit fellowshipping with other on fire, faithful followers of Jesus, you're going to start to be just like that ember, and you're going to smolder, and you're going to, that glow that you once had, that on fire faith that you once had, will start to wither and die and start to be snuffed out. It's easy for the enemy to come along and pick you off when you isolate yourself. And the word says that as we see that day approaching, as we see the day of the Lord's return coming near, don't forsake assembly. Don't forsake meeting with other on fire, faithful followers of Jesus. No, stay plugged into your local church. Maybe you don't get a whole lot out of it. Perhaps that's because God's got you there to feed them. Maybe he wants you to be a leader in the church. Maybe he wants you to disciple somebody. Maybe he wants you to be those words and voice of reason or encouragement for other people. Whatever it is, don't forsake meeting with other faithful followers of Jesus. Surround yourself with on fire, Bible-believing, born-again, blood-bought believers in Jesus Christ. That's the only way to stay on fire with your faith. Hey, until next time, this is Daryl Rundis telling you, I thank God for you.
What if his people